Good afternoon and good evening and good morning and welcome to Tea with Lily. How are you all doing? I'm your host, Lily Mensa, a brand strategist by day and a conversationalist by night. Today, I have a slightly different message to start my talk and my interview. And I want to congratulate the England team for bringing hope back into our national game, especially our three young cubs, Rashford, Saka, and Sancho. I pray for them that their mental health for carrying the weight of the nation's hopes on their very young shoulders. They stood strong and they did their duty. I take my hat off to the manager, Southgate, for his leadership during all of this time. Tea with Lily is a space for informal discussions where we chat over topical issues over a cup of tea. Guests from all walks of life join me to tell us all about their experiences and expertise and to help us all to grow in our professional lives. Today, I'm so excited. We actually have two people, two authors, who are going to talk about their journeys and teach us how we can market our books and do it so well that we can sell our books when we're half asleep, you know? But before we do that, I want to ask all of you to let us know where you're coming from in terms of your journey, whether you're from LinkedIn, whether you're from Facebook, or whether you're on YouTube. So we can put this in the chat. So let us know where you're calling from. Or watching from even, because we need to know all of that. Right, so we've got 2-3 comments coming in, one on Facebook. Hi, Constance. Yvonne is on there, Yvonne Witter. Woohoo! Thank you for joining. She's from Facebook as well. Winsome, I can see all the comments and I'll let you know who they are in a minute. So that's Yvonne. Yvonne is saying hello, and Constance is saying hello as well. Great. So we have two lovely ladies, as I said, and one of them is Winsome Duncan. Winsome, how are you and what are you having to drink today?
I'm very well. Hello, everybody. Hi. Hope you're doing well. I'm having a tea today. This is green tea with lemon. It is my popcorn house tea mug. I'm not going to put it over the laptop because, you know, we might have accidents up in there. And we've got the two little characters. So it's taken from the Popcorn House merchandise, baby. But I'm okay. I'm good. The sun is shining. And it's always a pleasure to be in your presence.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Welcome. And Neusa, hello. How are you and what are you sipping tonight?
I am amazing. I literally have been out for 2 hours in nature, just enjoying the sunshine and reciting my poetry from my book. I am drinking tea, and it's in my cup of a painting that I actually painted, which is saying, my body, my temple, my rules. So this is my professional cup. I drink my tea and my coffee in.
Wow, that is amazing. So welcome, ladies. So in terms of those who are listening, let's have a quick romp and look at how these wonderful ladies are going to share this story with us. So Neusa Catoja, I'm going to read her bio because if I don't read it, I'll get it all wrong, is a certified NLP.
You can say NLP.
I know, NLP. She's a certified NLP practitioner, an elevation coach, international speaker in English and Portuguese, author and poet of Soul of a Woman, a journey to self-love, published in February 2020 by Peaches Publications. We'll come to Peaches Publications in a minute. She's the founder of Free to Embrace Me and Love and, is it Familia?
Familia, which stands for family in Portuguese.
Yeah.
Love and
Familia. Oh, okay. Familia CIC, and creator of I Love Myself First retreats. Please invite me to the next one because I want to go.
I will.
And Soulful Self-Care Sunday. And basically, she helps entrepreneurs, especially female entrepreneurs, who are wellness coaches, unleash their feminine powers and attract and manifest their highest self from founders to self-made millionaires. Her vision is to inspire, motivate, and empower women from all walks of life. So that's her story. Thank you again. Now, Neusa, what does this empowering women really mean, and how did you come around that? Because I just want to check on that just briefly.
Well, we don't have time to go through all of my journeys, so let's just say I was in a time of my life where I was very disempowered. I suffered from body dysmorphic disorder, perfectionism and imposter syndrome. And I felt like a failure as a mother, as a businesswoman, because I was previously a personal trainer. I had to let go of mental health issues. So coming from a fitness background, what got to me and brought me down was dealing and suffering with body dysmorphic disorder, which is a mental health condition. It's very serious high risk, where you look at your flaws in the mirror and you fixate yourself in a part of your body or several parts of your body that you do not like. And it brings on self-hate. It brings on self-harm and suicidal thoughts. So I was at a stage where I suffered for 5 years. I empowered myself, and I wrote this amazing book, which was published by Winsome Publications, called Soul of Woman, A Journey to Self-Love, in where I empowered myself using holistic ways to heal myself, using my voice. I can honestly say that using my voice and asking for what I truly wanted and asking for support and praying and asking the Creator and God to just take me out of my situation, I empowered myself. So now what I do is I share what God has gifted me with, my purpose, to not let another woman walk alone, because we can empower ourselves, we can elevate. So as an elevation coach, I guide women through either one-to-one coaching, online programs, my book, which has been turned into a 6-week online program, which now has become a 21-day shift. So that's basically what I do.
Oh, great. That's amazing. Winsome, it's now your turn. I'm just gonna read her bio. Winsome is a woman with a huge vision of getting her wider community writing books. She has over 15 years experience in the publishing industry, author of 16 whopping books. Wow. Yeah. Winsome in the house. Amazon #1, including the Amazon #1 smash hit, The Popcorn House. Winsome works tirelessly with budding authors and entrepreneurs to help them realize their book writing dreams. She's the CEO of Peaches Publications and social enterprise of the Look Like Me Book Challenge, with a particular focus on stories and voices from the Black community, especially children aged 7 to 18. The reason why she's doing that was fueled by the Guardian newspaper's publication that a mere 5% of BAME main characters are in children's books within the UK, compared to 33.5% of BAME school children in the UK. So Winsome is passionate. She's raising funds for £50,000 to raise awareness and educate others about the importance of having equal visual representation for multicultural children from diverse heritage. So welcome, Winsome and Neusa. How are you today generally? You've told us how you're doing, what you do, but how are you feeling? What's in your bones today?
I'm a little bit poorly today, but I'm a soldier, so I have to ride it out. You know, you never know who's online to hear this message that we have to share that's really important. So other than that, I'm really grateful to be here. I really think you're an awesome presenter, and I'm really honored that you could walk with me on this journey to help people understand how they can maximize their business, in particular people of color. So my passion and my works right now is to change the narrative around how Black representation of children's characters are in books. It's not really widely known, so it's something that I'm wanting to pioneer, and as a result of that, it's going to be announced next week officially in the press release that I'm writing 100 children's books.
You heard it here first. Woo!
Come on. To address the balance, you cannot be what you do not see. And 33.5% of Black, Asian and minority ethnic children are in this country in school. So why are they marginalised in children's literature? So I've knocked on many doors, tried to apply for many fundings, and it just seems to me like I've just got to get up and do it myself. So that's the aim, to continue to fund and do the work like the Popcorn House work with 30 young budding authors. They were the ones that propelled me to #1 success. I didn't do it in my own strength. So it's really an honor and a privilege to be here and to help budding authors, established authors, to understand the economic terrain. This is what it's all about. Thanks.
Yes. Thank you. I was so glad that you made it, because I know you're not feeling, so I'll be gentle with you, but I'm always gentle with you, Winsome. This is not your first. This is not your first stint on the Tea with Lily show, as you know. When it was just radio, right?
Mm-hmm. And a podcast back in the day. You came to my office at the time in South Bank, Elephant and Castle, and we had our own little room, and it was really cool, you know. And I just said, there's something there, there's something inside of you. And now to see how it's grown and to progress onto LinkedIn beta video lives, not many people can get on that, and it's a testament to your service and what it is that you're doing. Thank you, Yvonne Witter. That's very kind. Thank you.
So that's great. Thank you again. So first, let's start with a few questions and see where it will take us. So what was this is to Neusa. What was the decision to write your book, and why did you choose Winsome as your book coach?
Well, it's a funny story, actually, but you know what? God always puts the right people together, and I believe I was just in the right place at the right time. I had a vision back way before I was personal trainer. I said, I'm going to write a book, but I thought I was going to write, I never shared this with Winsome, actually. I thought I was going to write a romantic book of these different single women finding a man. It never happened. I did start at one point. I actually never shared this with you. But I never once thought I was going to write my own story. That to me was never. And when I was asked to speak at an event, which was to empower women of the Muslim culture, I was reading a poem, because when I started to overcome, I realized I had a gift for poetry, and I just started to share my poems online. And my friends kept saying, you need to write a book, you need to write a book. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to write a book. So I thought I was going to write a poetry book, and I was going to publish it myself. So when I came to this event and I was reading a poem, afterwards, Winsome gave me a big hug. We sort of had an emotional moment, and we connected. And she shared a bit of her story, and then she said that she was a publisher. I was like, okay, there you go. So I guess we met, we spoke, and that was it. I knew straight away. I didn't even explore other publishers. I didn't know what it would cost to publish my book. All I knew was like, I need to write a book. I have no experience of writing a book. Let me do it. And Winsome was hosting a workshop, and at the beginning of starting to run a business, I had a few financial issues, and I thought, I'm not sure if I can publish a book. But she had a workshop, and I said, just put me in a workshop, I'm coming. I paid for the workshop, I turned up. I think there was about, 16 other authors at the time?
At Millennium Gloucestershire Hotel.
Yeah, at the Millennium Gloucestershire Hotel. And it was really nice to be around. And then the youngest one was like 15, 16 years old. And I thought, wow, everyone is such a powerful story. And afterwards, I was like, okay, I'm going to write my book. And Winsome put us in a WhatsApp. And myself and Samuel, the 15, 16-year-old, were the ones that were just on it, writing a book and writing a book. And it was when I started to actually work with Winsome, and we found ways to get the funding for the book. So anyone that's standing here saying, I can't publish a book because it costs too much, seriously, it didn't. I raised almost all of the money through GoFundMe. And another thing was, thank you, I needed a certain amount, and I raised almost 3/4 of it. And when I had my first call with Winsome, because she's a confidence coach, and although I'm a coach and she's a coach, she knows from a book perspective, I know from life and business. So she said to me, Neusa, poetry books are good, they'll sell well, but you have a story to tell. Plus you're a coach. So she guided me on the structure of the book. And I was like, okay, that sounds good. And because my poems were real life situations that I went through, they flowed so well. I can write a poem within 2 minutes. I just have to think of a word, feel a certain emotion, and my poems come out. But when Winsome said, you need to also put a bit of your story. What did you do to overcome these things? Yeah. And I remember sitting down at my desk and not being able to move. Once I sat down on my desk, my fingers, I'm a touch typist, my fingers were just going crazy. So within a month, I had 29,000 words and I had a book finished. That's why I'm going to say what she calls me.
Yeah, we'll come to that in a minute. Yeah, we'll come to that in a minute. Yes.
So that's how we connected.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask the question, because I feel that with everything, there has to be a connection between the coach and the coachee. There has to be that chemistry for it to work. Well, you seem to have answered that. But, I mean, Winsome, do you want to add to that as the coach and the chemistry between the two of you? Because if you're not feeling it, if you don't have a connection, it's really hard, isn't it?
Yeah, the day that I met Neusa, I was in a vulnerable space, and what she said to me just brought me to tears. Neusa has a way in her coaching and her, doing the transformative work to do surgery, spiritual surgery. And I sat in this room just crying. And what she had to say was just so, the wisdom that she imparted was just so on point, because she understands the dynamics of body dysmorphia, which a lot of women go through but don't ever want to talk about. They feel too ashamed. So she's a pioneer and a champion for self-love, self-care, for boundaries. So it was straight away a mutual benefit in terms of the skills that we learn from one another. We had stages where we were doing accountability partnerships as well, because we understood that where we needed to go, it's better that we come together as women. One hand can't clap, but if you put the two together, it's a force to be reckoned with. And a lot of the time, people are sitting in on the sidelines wanting to be a hater, wanting to be bad mind, wanting to be jealous. And that's not what I'm about. If that's you, I'm happy for you. You do you. But you can't be in my light. You will just burn in my light. You have to be clean-hearted, because otherwise the spirit of discernment sort of kicks that away. So in 30 days you write a 200-page book. That's why I definitely had to call her the book slayer. And to answer the question, Yvonne, Neusa raised nearly £600 on GoFundMe. I've raised £1,600 on GoFundMe. Last week, Miriam Manderson, she raised like £1,100. So the thing, what you have to remember, the people that are home watching, is that it is free to write. Whether you use my services or not, that doesn't impact me. But whether you tell your story to change the world, that's what the transformation is. It is free to pick up a pen and write. All right, maybe you'll go to the pound shop, it'll cost £1, fine, whatever. But the actual action to write is free. And you just figure it out along the way. Big up to Alex Gordon. He's a publisher as well for many years.
Oh, okay.
He's got all that
Alex
in there. Yes,
Alex Gordon, Yvonne, Saz, and a few other people
as well. Beautiful. Thank you for coming. Please share the link. Let people know this important information. And Alex will know, as a publisher himself, he does other works as well around financial literacy and so on and so forth. But as a collective, my main focus while I'm on this planet is to mobilize my community to not only tell their stories and to leave their legacies, but to have an economic terrain where they can upsell on low to medium to high price points. And it doesn't matter whether you can afford my services or not. I've got different tiers where you can interact with me, a workbook of £10, free online workshops that I've done. What matters is that you have goals and aspirations to not let current circumstance bankrupt you spiritually and financially. So that's kind of where I'm at.
That's amazing. And I know today we're here to talk about a book that is slightly to the corner. I'm going to reach for it, and I mean, how do I do that? But we're going to talk about Just Market book. Bear with me here. I hope I don't fall over. There we go. Just Market it book. So we, the three of us, collaborated. Well, I just did a little bit on it, but Winsome put it all together, and Neusa wrote the forward to it. And I know you're a very busy woman. How, when she asked you, I'm sure, I mean, I think this question is probably redundant because you obviously have a connection and you couldn't say no. But writing a forward for a book is quite hard, isn't it? Because you have to get the gist of the book before you write it. You wrote your book in a month. How long did it take you to write is it 3-page forward?
It's a 2-page forward.
Two-page forward.
As Winsome said, we already, to be honest with you, all these gems, there's more. There's so many gems in this book. But every coach, really and truly, needs to practice what they're preaching, right, before they write a book. So a book comes from inside of you. So myself and Winsome, we're friends now. We're not just collaborations. We're friends. So after my book came out, she also had a book called Just Write It. We decided, let's get together, accountability, and let's come out with things that we can do. So some of the bits are already in this book. So when Winsome said, would you write the foreword? I was like, yeah, excellent. Because I already know, based on the work that we've done and based on the connection that we have and what Winsome does and the gems that she has, it was quite easy to be able to write the foreword. And she keeps saying, have you gone through the book? Have you gone through the book? Honestly, no, I haven't. But I'm launching my do you know what? Lately, this is my book. I've sold over 250 copies. It's now been translated to Portuguese, and I'm just looking at a Portuguese editor. As soon as I get one, the book will come out to Portuguese. I speak internationally in Portuguese countries, so I have no doubt that this book will sell out very fast in Portuguese too. Now, I learned a lot of these things from Winsome, in the sense of a book is not, you don't just launch a book, put it up for sale on Amazon and forget about it. I have self-love book bundles, so does Winsome. We found strategies that we can use to keep selling our books. For me, what works really, really well is having a connection with my readers and followers. When one of my readers buys my book, I ask them to send me a picture of them holding a book, and if they have a business, I connect on them on Instagram, I share the picture, and I share their business. So you've got people talking. So a lot of the tools that we can use in a smart way are on the book. And I feel like I'm recycling again. A year later, I'm like, I'm doing this all over again. Because if I can sell 250 copies during lockdown, because I sold, I think, about 100 during lockdown, what can I do without So now I can physically go out there and I want to do another book signing. I'm going to relaunch. I'm going to do so much to this book before my second one comes out. But this Just Market is going to help me before my second book comes out. Because what I'll do is I'll read and I'll start applying things before I even launch my second book. Because there's things that you can do beforehand, pre-ordering a book. You can start. You've got a book. You've got so much in there that it's a gem. That's why I haven't gone through it, but I know it's going to be my Bible. It's going to be my Bible.
It is a great book. And I remember when I received my copy, I went and sat in the park and I was reading it and going, leafing through it and thinking, wow, I wish I had had something like this when I was starting my book journey. So Winsome, thank you so much for bringing this book out. And it's not just for people who are thinking of writing books, but people who've already written books and they want to diversify their audiences as well, because you will eventually, your books will stop selling to the same, because people cannot read the same book over and over again. They'll probably pick it up in 20 years' time and go back to it. But so you need to change different ways of selling your book. And this is godsend.
And I think that it's about not making it stale. So you need to think about, do you have an avatar? You know, what is your writer's avatar? Who is your audience? People say, oh, I sell my book to everyone. Well, I tell you something. You sell your book to everyone. You're going to sell your book to nobody. So this is a toolkit, more than 200 pages to assist you on the path. It's for intermediates, it's for beginners, to help you to create your press releases, to talk about what your avatars are, talk about your press campaign. Are you going to have an express campaign, to help you channel along the way the steps that you are going to make. And I could have put so much more in it, but you know what, I didn't want to overwhelm people. There is a lot more to it than that. I've been doing publishing from since 2006, so it's a long time. And when you done your section in here on branding, to me, I thought that was amazing, because when you helped me when I was up for award nomination at the Houses of Parliament, I never thought about the colour of my earrings matching the outfit and the bag. And I'm not a girly girl. I'm a bit of a tomboy. Give me some leggings and some flats and let's go.
Oh, I'm blushing now.
So when they read your section in there, they're going to get a piece of you and your knowledge over the vast years that you've been a brand consultant, and you understand about not confusing the message. And this is a trilogy. This is so the first one was Just Write It, which Neusa was talking about. So anybody that wants to write a book, that they start with this. Then it's the Just Market It, and then it's going to come the Just Scribe It, because trilogies sell more in terms of box sets.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is true. So what are the, back to Neusa, what are the, I still want to talk about your business, because I like the idea of self-love, loving yourself, because obviously us women, we tend not to do that too much, but some of us are learning to say, hey, me first. I need to put my mask on before I can help anyone else. Yeah. So what are the key areas in your business, Neusa?
So the key areas in my business is literally when I speak to a client, as Winsome said, I do spiritual surgery. I've never put it in that way. I love how she uses these words so beautifully. I see their greatness before their forgiveness. That's what I can say. So when I'm speaking to somebody, I've been there. It may not have been the same situation, but circumstances, thoughts, feelings, emotions, fears, they're pretty much the same. So body dysmorphia that I went through, I didn't go into mental health because of a relationship breakdown or financial breakdown or a loss of a loved one. It was just me disconnecting with myself. So when I speak to a client, I know already, and I don't like to use the word client. When I speak to a queen, a woman, I can see the pain that they're going through. And when they start to bring in other people into it, I bring them back to themselves. It's never about other people. It's all to do with yourself. Because when you elevate yourself and you know your worth, it's all to do with your value and your self-worth. When you know your self-worth, right?
Yeah.
Nobody else around you can break you anymore. It's about building that emotional resilience. So I take on a beautiful queen and we find out where they are and I find out where they're going. The first thing to do is, where do you want to go? If they want to start going back to the past, I bring them back into the present. No, you're here now. Where do you want to go in the next few months? And I get them to think about their future self. And when I get to an exercise, which I like to do very often, is I tell them, go and write a letter to your future self. What is your future self saying? What is your future self doing? What is your ideal day? It gets them to paint a picture of something that's possible. So that's where we start. We get them to really visualize where their life can go. And each week, if it's a one-to-one, we focus what's next. What area of your life is really, really low? Let's focus on that. And most of the time, it's spiritual. Most of the time is to do, and when I say spiritual, it's self-love. Oh, okay. 100% of the time is that. So it's again teaching them techniques of self-care, journaling, just taking those 5 to 10 or 15 minutes before the whole world is awake, before the children are awake, to say, this is me time. I'm worthy of giving myself that time. And then we kind of build on from that. Couple of clients I work with, maybe after 2 weeks of them working with me, it's like a light bulb, like their world just lights up. And I'm shocked. I'm still shocked, but pleased, because they're like, yeah, I'm doing things for myself. I didn't even know I could do things for myself.
Yeah.
I'm doing that, and I'm doing that. And a partner that used to be a problem is no longer a problem. If anything, the partner's now pouring onto them, and I'm like, what's going on?
Oh, wow. I
I
saw that.
It's literally when you put your focus on you, right? Then the world wants to give to you what you give to yourself. It's that simple.
Exactly.
It's that simple.
Oh,
so yeah,
that's amazing.
That's how I do surgery.
I'm so glad that you've shared that, and I need to look a lot closer into the work that you do, because
thank you.
That seems quite powerful, and maybe you can come back and we can do a whole program on self-love, self-care, and pouring into yourself and what have you. So thank you. Winsome, can you please share with us some of the challenges that authors have once they've done the manuscript? So let's move from those who've never written at all to those who've sort of got the manuscript on a pen drive or somewhere. What are some of the challenges that authors somewhere or something?
Somewhere.
That's exactly how it is, Lily.
Really, somewhere.
I had a call this week. It was like, I'm going to check my other computer. But I did email it to myself, and I was just like, okay.
What?
At least they did a backup, At least they did a backup. It really is variable. I think once you finish your manuscript, you can give yourself a pat on the back. But I think the problem occurs when one sort of comes to us and they're really thinking, I'm done. Here you go. It's like, okay, so I don't see your dedication. I can't see your preface. About the author page, references, study notes. We want you to have a book that it can stand up against the professional people of the world. You see what I mean? So, hello, where's the rest of it? And then we have to teach them and train them. We've got our professional industry standard contents page that guides them. And they might not need all elements on there, but as Neusa knows, when we went through her book, The Soul of a Woman, it was funny because since that day to now, we do a lot of reflections. We never used to be so hot on it before. We did some in some of our Christian books because it was time to reflect scripture on the scriptures, scripturally. But it's adding in, taking out, and not being too precious with it. So once the book manuscript is done, it's not about exhaling. It's about, okay, how am I going to market this? When you pick up the pen to write the book, you think, how am I going to market it? Because you're putting it now into the hands of the editor, you're putting it into the hands of the proofreader. And that's the longest part of the job: typesetting, editing, and proofreading. It really takes a long time and it's expensive. And what I try to explain to people is if you buy cheap, don't expect quality. Just don't, because this is people's times, and you have to have people that are experts in their field. And it's a tricky one, getting the balance right. But once that happens, we want to get your book covers done. And this is a little tip for those of you out there. Thank you very much, Alex. Oh, that's sweet.
Alex is on fire. I need to meet this Alex. Maybe we'll
you have to meet him. He's amazing.
Thank you, Alex.
Genuine guy. I've been to his office up in Walthamstow. I think they've knocked that down now, so I'm not sure. No, Black Horse Road. But yeah, he's on point. He's got multiple businesses, so definitely do connect with Alex Gordon. But one of the things I want to leave with anybody here, you don't do a book cover for you. You don't. You do a book cover for your reader. What is your reader going to want? What are they going to connect with? As a book confidence coach, my role is to help guide you along the journey of publishing your book. If you want to listen to me, great. You're going to get the best product. And if you don't, that's also great too. But know that you're not going to reach your full potential. You must research your competitors. You must research, but the idea that I've got is amazing. Is it? Is it really? Does it match the concept of your subtitle? Does it match with the concepts of your main title, or is it a bit of a mismatch? Neusa, tell us, what was the original name of Soul of a Woman? Because up to now, I still can't pronounce it.
Oh gosh, yeah, it changed so many times. It literally changed. First, it was from the depression to self-expression. Then it was, I can't even say the word.
Exactly. It was some French. Was it French? Portuguese? What was it?
Pedagogy or something along those lines that does not look...
It was a posh word.
Yeah.
Oh, pedagogy. Pedagogy. That's teaching. Pedagogy is teaching.
Yeah. Something about
but
that.
It was
I've just done a teaching course. That's how I found out. Pedagogy. I didn't know it before, so.
But you know what?
Of course, Lily knows what the word is.
Something that Winsome put in my mind, and this is the beauty of us working together. We had challenges. I'm not going to lie. We had challenges because we're both strong women and both know what we want. I didn't do my research about books similar to mine. No, I didn't do my research on the book covers. For me, I'm quite a creative person, and she embraced that in me because she's also creative. But I needed her brain and her expertise as a book confidence coach to work with me. And she really did work with me. And I think for me, probably the biggest challenge, I would say, as a publisher was to let my book be published. I sat in a coffee shop and I cried my eyes out because I'm like, this book is now going to go out to the whole world. And I called Winsome, I'm like, I can't let it go. And she guided me to say, Neusa, it's done. Just let it go. And the thing is, you're never really prepared for the stuff that you still have to do as an author afterwards. Press release, what's that? Launch party, what's that? Sending books and sending all of this. I was grateful to have had Winsome as my accountability buddy because I think I would have been really, really lost. And I don't think I would have reached the target of 200
and you launched
books.
Just before lockdown, so we were going through interesting times. But nevertheless, it was one of the last events that I think it was one of the last events that I had attended before everything closed. But you managed to get the Voice newspaper down and their banners to be involved. And these are the things that you have to think about on how you can make connections, strategic partnerships and alliances. And one day I was sitting on the phone talking to Neusa, because it's no skin off my nose if you're not going to listen to me. It's your book. You're the one.
You already paid.
You know? And she was talking about a poem called Soul of a Woman. And I said to her, that's your title. That is what you should call it.
And then you gave me the idea to do the trilogy. And she said, Neusa, your book can be a trilogy. And that's exactly what it's going to be. So my second one is a sequence to the first one and then a third one. And you never know. It's just opened me up to the possibilities of writing so many books in different ways. And eventually I wanted to do a poetry book again. Winsome slapped me in the hand and said no. Eventually I'm going to do just a poetry book because I've got poems everywhere. And it's like, I just want to just throw a few poems and send them. But it's the strategy of what are you giving to your readers and the upselling, because Winsome said, you're a coach, put what you do at the end. How can people reach you? How can people talk to you? And then turning a book into a 6-week online program, which I now have, into a 21-day shift, which I've done all the filming and all the videos, and saying, right, if you can't work with me yet, buy the book. They get the book,
different ways.
Some people will buy the book and within a month they're calling me before they're like, I've read the book, but I think I need you. Can you coach me one-to-one? And they're reading the book alongside me coaching them. So it's a massive tool for me to.
And it's an upsell. That's what people don't understand. It's an upsell. Books are not going to make you money unless you're J.K. Rowling, or Maya Angelou. Then you're going to get a little bit of pee in your pocket. So what you have to think about is the ways in which you upsell, and just market it. It teaches you exactly to do that. So Lily, what's your trilogy going to be?
My trilogy. It's still going to be work your. It's still going to be work your quirks. But there's one which is going to be Winsome. You're always getting me to say things that I don't say too publicly. I'll say the work your quirks is about professional. The next one is about professionals and also working what can I say? Working whilst black, you know?
Working
Not quite.
black.
No, not working whilst black, but something to do with diversity and inclusion and stuff like that, because it's a very important topic. And it's about using your unique promise of value to bring stuff to the table, so that rather than them and us, bringing the whole, getting to the top by using your God-given talents. So
Amen.
that's still work your quirks. And the third one, I'm still working on it, but definitely a sequel is coming out soon.
Top secret. Good.
Top secret.
Something just made me laugh, and I wanted to share it before you go on, Lily.
Go on.
Winsome has this ability to hear your title and go, I'm not feeling it. Seriously, she did that to me. She was like, I'm not feeling it. So it makes you go back in the drawing board. And I remember a few times going, oh, what do you mean she's not feeling it? But then she knew I wasn't feeling it. So when we got to the title of Soul of a Woman, and the book, I titled the book after a friend of mine, mother, who I also seen was like a good mother to me. She passed away. So after
Yvonne's
she passed
killing
away,
sorry.
Well,
no, Yvonne's killing me with the quote. I'm supposed to be listening to you.
Working Black Woman Work. I actually like that title.
That's the title, Yvonne. She come work for me.
You see, she felt that one. She didn't say I'm not feeling it. There you go. You got a title already.
Title, okay.
When I came up with my title, because the book is such an emotional book and such a soul-searching book, when I lost someone that I love and I left the hospital, this person had cancer, left the hospital, and I thought of the title of the poem. I wrote the poem straight away. It was like Soul of a Woman. And then when I said it to Winsome, she said, yeah, that's the one. So, yeah, she's not feeling my second title yet. So I'm still working with her on my second book title.
Maybe we can bring Yvonne in to come and help us with that.
Yeah.
Working Black Woman Quack.
Yeah.
But just quickly, would you ask any of your clients to write their own book based on the value that you found in writing your book, Neusa?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I have this magnetic power of attracting women like me, because that's what you do. And a lot of the people and women and queens that come to me want to write their books. They really do. I've sold the Just Write It for Winsome to quite a few of my clients who are now writing their books. And I've even said to Winsome, I really want to run a small group with my clients, helping them to write their books. So I'm going to be talking to Winsome about that, because I can collectively support them while Winsome comes in and does her part. So everybody has a story to share. And I remember once going into Clubhouse, and we called Clubhouse Own Your Story, and own your story and speak up. And we had women from everywhere just literally pouring out their hearts of their stories. And I'm like, you should write a book. And I think once they've seen that I have, and the power that it has and what it's done for me, they're now like, yeah, I can and I will. And I've just met so many different people that just haven't published their book yet, but they're writing their books. So
that's great. Thank you so much for your lovely answers. I've got one quirky comment here. Quirky whilst black. Oh jeez. I wish I hadn't started that. from Miss Candy. Saying quirky whilst black. Anyway, can you share some tips on how Neusa? Share some tips on how. No. I think I've got one final question for both of you before we look at the tips. And the first one is to Winsome, to ask you how what are the next things that you're going to do about your CIC or your charity. What's the next step for that, for the challenge?
So I created the Look Like Me book challenge, which is trademark registered, and we are
of course.
Cross your I's, dot your T's. We are a CIC, so community interest company, and we work with predominantly 7 to 18-year-olds to provide activities around literacy to help them write their stories, create books, and create their characters. So the first initiative, as you can see, it was the Popcorn House, and we are going to be giving away, Lily is giving away some copies to the audiences that are on here. This is our #1 best-selling book, and the children, some of the children, you know, featured in at the back. So what I want to do is I want to gain funding for this project. It's really, really important to me that they are recognised. And we had Neusa on the project as well. She was one of the facilitators, and they were all volunteering. They just believed in the vision and believed in the dream. And as a result of that, it propelled the book forward. So we need people who have connections with funding bodies that can support us on the journey, volunteers that want to get involved in the workshops. The next cohort is going to be 12 to 18-year-olds, and we're wanting to do a book for them. And this time around, we want to pay our volunteers, because it's their time and we value their time, and we want to teach them the principles of, you know, rent have to pay and electric have to pay and gas have to pay. You know, so I'm really excited that I've got a wonderful board that I meet up with every other month that is supporting me on this journey. So it's not just me walking alone. I'm being accountable within that, and it's a baby. We're just starting. You know, the Look Like Me book challenge has been going for nearly 2 years, but that was off of the good donations off of our public, where we ranged £1,600. But now we want to just take it a bit more seriously and just get some good plans in place.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. And Neusa, what about your family, Love and Family, CIC?
So when I first started, supporting women was all to do with mental health and depression and anxiety. And because I went through it, and I also had I have a teenage daughter, I had to rebuild my relationship. First, I had to love me, and then I had to rebuild my relationship with my daughter again, because you know, the communication was troubled, and, you know, she saw what I went through, it affected her. And I started to do that with my daughter. And I decided that I wanted to open a company that could get funding in order to also support other families out there. And especially during lockdown, the rising mental health cases has increased. The waiting list for therapists has increased. You're talking before lockdown, the waiting list for a teenager, to see a therapist was 8 months. So can you imagine now how long it is for them just to see a therapist? And I'm not here to say it doesn't work, that their techniques don't work. But if you're waiting so long to see a therapist, and you're only going to get 1 hour per week of seeing this therapist, what's happening in between? So I wanted to be able to open up a CIC that will enable me to support families with teenagers on how to rebuild, how to rebond and address, because a mum could be going through mental health, so could their teenager. But what would we mums probably say? We'll turn around and go, they're just being a teenager. It's not that they're just being a teenager.
How many times have we done that?
Exactly. Something could be going on. So open up Love and Family CIC, again, just like Winsome, taking on some volunteers that we're going to pay now, taking on professionals, because obviously I work with women. I'm going to be bringing in a youth mentor and a coach from the male side to focus on the men and the teenage boys, while I focus on the mums and the teenage. And we're going to do things like art therapy. We're going to do things like movement classes, a class that I teach, which is called Afro Kids Movement, combines meditation, mindfulness, dance. We're going to do so many of the things that I have used and the tools that I have used to overcome mental health. So once we get the funding, we're going to do 12-week projects where we bring in different families, work with them for 12 weeks, make sure that they progress, and then move on to another family, and so on and so on and so on. So that is the plan. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I wish you all the best with that. And when we finish with this, just if you can just drop the link to some of the stuff that you're doing, how people can get involved in it, then it's all in the chat, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook, so if people can follow up. Because it's live, the content will stay there for as long as the people will have it. And you can just add the links, and then I'll go in the morning and add some more as well. So that'll be awesome. We've got so many people commenting. We can't get to all of them because I've got a few more questions. I want some tips. Somebody give me some. I want some quick, sharp tips. So Winsome, what are your tips for the authors? Can you tell us quickly, please?
Okay. The first tip that I find a lot of authors just don't do is Amazon Author Central page. You can do UK and you can do USA. It's a free promotional platform, guys. Come on. Put trailers on there, your events on there, your pictures on there, your biographies on there, and obviously your books. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a way of
don't forget the books.
No, don't forget the books. It's a way of your audience getting to know them. And I'm actually going to do a video post because up to now, Lily, I can't understand how Stormzy, who is the head of Murky Books, and more recently Marcus Rashford, why they haven't got an Author Central page. It just doesn't make no sense to me. And they're with mainstream commercial publishing, isn't It's Murky Books like part of Penguin or something. And I've emailed them and I've tweeted them. And I'm just like, why would you not put our young black male authors, which is already, there is a lower level, there's not enough male authors anyway. Why would you not fully extend their platform? There's many people that probably go to Stormzy's book, never heard of him, and all the amazing work that he's done. And Marcus Rashford, he's a millionaire football person playing for England in the Euro finals. Why is he not got an Amazon Author Central? It's a basic thing. But you see, that's the thing. People don't know. For the lack of knowledge, my people perish. And this is why when people work with me like Neusa, who come on board and want to get their books to another level, that is what you're paying for. You're paying for the expertise and the awareness that I know. So that's a free tool. Go and research it, Google it. The wealth of information is there. And I would say the other advice that I would want to give you is just think about how you're going to diverse your portfolio. This is not just a book. This is an animation cartoon. This is a mug. Yeah, you've seen already. Yeah. It's going to be a t-shirt with these characters on here. It's going to be an audio book. It's going to be a hardback book. It's going to be a coloring book. You can't just look at this and say it's a book. You can't do that. If you do that, you're limiting your income. And that's what I really teach. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Winsome.
You're welcome.
Neusa, any tips for us, please, on the loving yourself and the soul of a woman?
My tip, gosh, I have so many. My tip is, I'm going to share a little card, right here. And it says, because this is taken from this, you got this 100 inspiring quotes, yeah?
Yeah.
And the tip is, no one is perfect. That's why pencils have erasers, right?
Oh.
No one is perfect. That's why pencils have erasers. And
That's
I put a post today.
Yeah.
That says, we are meant to make mistakes, right? That's how we learn. Whatever mistakes you've made in your past, that's your past. You can't change it. Let it go.
Yeah.
Or you can focus and say, right, what do I want right now? And give that to yourself. The greatest tip I can give to anyone is how you nurture your child, how you nurture your baby, is how you should be nurturing yourself. That's how you should be nurturing yourself. All the love you give out, give it to yourself first, because then you can fill up your cup, and then whatever drops onto the saucer, that's what you should be dishing out.
I wish somebody told me that before. Oh, my children are all grown now. Too late for me.
You can still take it back. Do you know what? You're experienced now. You're experienced in nurturing. Therefore, you know exactly how to look after yourself.
Actually, that's true.
Yeah. You've got experience. True. You've got many years experience. Do it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Gosh. That's amazing. So, you know how I always say, when people come to visit, they come with a present. So what presents are you going to leave? Well, Winsome mentioned that she's going to leave us some books. Show us how are we going to manage this? We'll talk about it. Do they send you their emails and then you send it to them?
It's up to you. I can send you a package of 5 books and you can distribute them, or you can forward the contact details to my assistant Mary, and she can liaise from there.
Okay, we'll talk about that outside. But if anybody's interested in getting some books from Winsome, just email me, Lily at Links Media. I'll put it in the chat.com. And Neusa, how about you? Who are you leaving us with?
Right, I am hosting a free masterclass this Thursday, 7:30 UK time. And a masterclass is helping you to unleash your feminine power for women. So women who are asking me about self-love, self-care, how to empower yourself. This 1-hour masterclass is going to give you all the tools and tips that you need to get started. And it will enable you to identify and be able to take away why is it that you're getting in your own way from becoming the amazing, great woman that you were born to be. And once you come out of that masterclass, you know exactly what you need to do. So I'm going to share the link here. You just have to book your space via Zoom, via my landing page. And once you're on there, I will see you on Thursday. So I'm just going to post the link on the chat.
And it's this Thursday, what's the date again?
This Thursday,
the 15th. 7:30. Yeah. Okay. That's amazing. We've had so many people come through that I haven't acknowledged. So Alex has been phenomenal. Thank you. We had Constance. We had, thank you, Constance. Tisha from my Italian connection I'm not talking to today. In fact, all of the week, I'm not talking to her. She's in Italy, and she's not my friend this week. Saz, she is not my friend this week. Yeah, my Italian connection. I'm not talking to her. But I spoke to somebody else today who was also said, "Oh, she was born in Italy." I was like, "Oh God, I'm not talking to you either." But thank you so much, everyone who's joined in and has contributed to this. This has been amazing. Vicky Garvey, we haven't acknowledged you at all. Hello. Who else and what else? Oh, Vicky, is that your connection? Candy and Angela, Rosie, Saz, and Mawinya. She said no one is perfect. So, and Jamie Tay as well. I feel so inspired. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Jamie. So we're just about to close. We've got everything that we need. Winsome and Neusa, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and knowledge about books and self-love and what have you. And also, I just want to thank everybody who has tuned in and continue to pray for our three lion cubs that are hurting at the moment, and so that they get the will to carry on and do so much more for the England team as we go into the World Cup next year. Thank you again for tuning in. My name is Lily Najumensa of Links Media, and always here to answer your burning questions over a cup of tea. Take care, and may everything that you wish for be the least that you receive. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you real soon.
Bye.
Bye.